Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. Today I'm back here, back at my old school at Newington College, the high school that I attended from 1972 to 1977, and I thought it would be apt to come here and deliver a 7am club. It's peaceful, it's beautiful. I just can't get enough of the school grounds here. This place here was my home for a number of years, for 6 whole years, where I went from being a boy to a man. And a lot of beautiful memories. I was very fortunate to have parents who cared about my education and sacrificed everything for me to go to an elite boys private school, a GPS school, a greater public school. And you look at the magnificence, look at this architecture. It's just glorious. An institution which turned, as I said before, boys to men. And there are years here that I will never ever forget. I made a lot of friends, I played sport, I expressed myself in various aspects. And I look back and I'm just so proud of this place that I can still call home. I can come here and still feel as if I'm part of this institution. Anyway, there are things that I'll just never forget. I'll never forget the first day that I came here and we lined up round about here. I think we were lined up about where I am now. And the school sergeant got everybody's attention and called out the names one after the other and put people into groups, and each of these groups were the various classes, the various first form classes. And I still hadn't called my name. I still hadn't heard my name call. I was waiting, and he finished calling out all the names, and he said, "Have I missed out on anybody?" And all of a sudden, I had to summon the courage to say to the school sergeant, who was named Mr. John Turnbull, I had to say, "Excuse me, sir, you've forgotten to call my name out." And he asked me what my name was. I told him what my name was, and he looked down the list and my name was missing from the list. So he said, "Wait here." Anyway, he organised all the other classes and sent them off for their orientation, and I had to wait patiently for him to go to the headmaster's office and work out which class I was in. So you can understand it was a bit unnerving for me, a young boy of 12 years of age. I hadn't turned 12 yet. In 1972 when I was here, I was still 11 years of age. I turned 12 in May, and the school year started in late January, I think it was, or early February. I think it was late January. How did I get to this school in the first place? I remember being in the car with my friend Alec Pappas, and we were coming back from a beach day with his father. He had a Holden station wagon, and I remember he had the back window flipped open, and we're sitting in the back, and we're returning home from the beach after body surfing throughout the day and having an absolute cracker, a wonderful day. And he said to me that next year I'm going to another school. I'm not going to Kingsgrove High School, I'm going to a private school. And I said, "What do you mean? We're not going to be," I got really concerned. what, we're friends and we're not going to be at school together? And he said, no, next year I'm going to a private school. I'm going to a school called Newington College, and it's a great school, and it's got big grounds. And he told me all about, the cadets and all those wonderful things that I'd never even considered that were a possibility in my lifetime. And he was talking away, and I was just thinking, saying, oh no, all of a sudden my childhood school buddy is no longer going to be with me. And then he told me that the school that I'm going to also has a swimming pool with a diving board. And when I heard that, that's when I said to myself, I've got to go to this school as well. So at the back of my mind, I was saying to myself, wow, what a school, what an opportunity. And I remember going home. I was pretty silent after Alec told me this, and I was just mulling over in my head what I was going to do. So I remember going home and telling my mother, saying, Mum, I want to go to the same school that Alec is going to. I want to go to Newington College. And my mother looked at me and she said, are you sure? And I said, yes, I am sure. And she said, look, we asked you time and time again if you wanted to go to Newington College, and you just kept on saying no. And I said, well, you didn't tell me that Alec was going to come to this school, and that the school had a swimming pool, and it was a good school, and it was all these wonderful things that I'd heard from Alec. Anyway, my mother said, look, it's probably too late because the enrolments have closed and it's almost the end of the year. But what I'll do is I'll organise for your father to go to the school and see if there's any places available. So I remember all of a sudden feeling a little bit dejected and wondering whether or not I'd get a chance to go to a school as wonderful as this one here. Anyway, a few weeks passed, and my mother then told me that a position had opened up at Newington, and there was an available position there. She asked me, are you sure? Are you sure that you want to go to that school? And I said, of course I'm sure. I'd love to go to that school. And she said, it's a very, very expensive school. It's going to cost a lot of money, and we don't have a lot of money. But if it's something that you want to do, then we will make it happen for you. We will cut our expenses. We will cut the money that we spend from somewhere else to make sure that you can come to this school. Anyway, to cut a long story short, it happened. And my dream came true, and I came to Newington, not only with my friend Alec Pappas, but I also found out afterwards that another good friend of mine, Jim McCain, was coming here, and John Lankin. So there were four boys from my school there at Kingsgrove who came to Newington College, and we were all in the same year. So that in itself was comforting. Changing schools, going to big school, going to high school, and being at school with school friends that you were with at primary school. Anyway, wonderful years, as I said, wonderful years. I learnt a lot. I enjoyed my sport. And the thing that I learnt here at Newington is that for the first time in my life, I got an immense amount of pride in being part of an institution. And I remember in 1976, I went to the Head of the River regatta at Penrith, where Newington won the regatta. And I still remember, with tears in my eyes, the whole school being there, cheering, singing the war cry. And the Newington 8 were out in front and they won the Head of the River, and it was the first time they won it for many, many decades. And we went absolutely crazy. I remember drinking beer and just having the time of my life that night. We'd be just walking around, and the parents would be, of course, having their little barbecues and picnics and have alcohol, and we'd be just stealing a tin or two and just going and having a few drinks ourselves. And I remember that wonderful occasion. And again in 1977, Newington, that was when I was in Year 12, won the head of the river again, 2 years in a row. And the coach, the rowing coach, was Mr. Morgan, I remember. Mr. Morgan, and he had a tremendous success with the rowing teams. Anyway, so and I remember just feeling immensely proud. It was the proudest moment of my life to have been at the head of the river where Newington won the regatta and singing the school war cry and just being absolutely over the moon. The other thing that I loved about this school here is the motto was In Fide Scientiam, which means to your faith add knowledge. And that's something that resonated with me back then and resonates with me even more now. Because I remember my mother always used to say to me, she said, "Son, we're going to send you to a great school so that you become educated. But we want your education to complement and supplement your faith. We want you to use your education to become a better Christian, a stronger Christian than what we are. A Christian who is able to understand the faith deeper and better than all of those who have gone before you." A very, very powerful request from my mother, but it's something that I absolutely love because I love my faith, I love my Christian background, my Christian traditions, but I also love being able to complement and supplement those with additional knowledge and being able to use both to propel me forward and to help me create a foundation so that I too can pass on the knowledge and the faith to my children, my grandchildren, and to whoever I get to an opportunity to touch in my life. So there you go, right behind me, I just saw it now. The school motto is In Fide Scientiam. To faith add knowledge. What a powerful, powerful thing. And it's only now, where I'm older, that I appreciate it even more. So I guess that's it. There's one more thing that I remember from this school. The very, very first year that I was here, I got the cane because I was slap fighting with a friend of mine, a classmate, Dave Evans, and copped one lash across the backside with a cane from Mr. Stone, who was renowned for his meanness. But at the end of the day, I was a young boy and I needed discipline, just like most young men of today need to be disciplined. And sometimes words are not enough. You need a bit of corporal punishment to get the focus that is deserved. And the other wonderful fond memory that I have, I've got quite a few fond memories. One of the fond memories that I have is behind me down there on the main oval, down behind me over there. That used to be the main oval. It used to be the Buchanan Oval. And I remember one year playing in the 16As. I played rugby at Newington, but I played rugby back in the days when the whole school played rugby, and there were team after team after team of rugby teams that would play on a Saturday. And I was in the 16As. I played prop forward in the 16As. And I remember we played St Joseph's on the main oval there. And back in the day when I was at school, St Joseph's were an absolutely awesome rugby school. Joey's were the rugby school of the time. They were tough, they were boarders, and they loved their rugby, and they took their rugby very, very seriously. And I remember in the 6 years that I played rugby that to beat Joey's was itself a major feat. And I remember we were playing down there. It was a tight game, and with about 5 or 10 minutes to go, there was a ruck that had formed, and the halfback for Joey's started hacking away, kicking the foot of the second rower that we had, whose name was Bill Maywis, kicking away violently. And I was there right in front, and I objected, and the referee gave a penalty to us. It was probably about 30 metres out, 20 metres across or near the sideline. And I think the scores were level at that point. And Robert Inskip, I still remember placing the ball and to kick the goal, and that goal would put us into the lead. And I remember we were all praying, hoping and praying, and Rob Inskip took his steps back, came in, kicked it right between the posts. And I still remember seeing the ball sail between the posts, and the bottom line was we held on, we won the game, and the Joey's boys left the field crying. I still remember that they were terrified at what was going to happen to them when they got back to school, and had to justify, had to explain to the other boarders why the 16As lost to Newington. But a wonderful experience. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining me on this nostalgic tour today. I've gone back well over 40 years, 45, 46 years, 48 years actually. It was 48 years ago that I came to this school for my first day, and I'll never forget it. As I said, I'll never forget it. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, remember your school years, and we all are an ambassador of our schools and of our education system, and we all must continue to uphold the values and the learnings that we got from these schools, and to encourage other people, younger people, as they're coming through the education system, to do the best they possibly can, and to know that if your parents send you to a wonderful school, then your duty is to do the very, very best with the opportunity, and not to waste it. Not to waste it doing other things other than enhancing your education and investing effort into your own growth and development. Because for me, Newington College was a start, and it was the catalyst for my education, and it was something that was going to help me continue to be a lifelong learner and to continue my growth and development. Anyway, let's finish off from here, and I look forward to coming to you again tomorrow from another location with another message of empowerment. And I thank my parents, even though they both passed away. I do thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to come to this magnificent educational institution and to learn as much as I could, and to have hopefully lived the values that the school has supported, passed on to many other leaders who have gone on to bigger and better things in this country. Take care, and we'll chat again. Bye for now, from my wonderful Newington College. Cheers.